for, video. Okay, you guys, so it's braiding week and we're gonna have some fun. What I like to do on the first day of braiding, I know some of you are amazing at braiding already, but I need to find out where everybody is. So the first thing I like to do is we're gonna section the doll in 4. Yes, you are gonna use your Marias, but I'm using her because you guys can see her better. So I'm gonna section her in the 4 sections that we always do. And I like to, when I'm braiding, I like to use rubber bands to section it off. Just because, we're in braiding mode. So I'm just gonna go down the back here, all the way to the nape. Just a basic 4 section, first thing. I know you guys can't see because I'm on this side, but I'll show you right now. 1, 2, and I'm gonna do the other side the same. 3, 4, okay. I'm gonna start in this back section here. So I'm gonna take this aside. So this is what I want you guys to do the first, when you first start the braiding. You're gonna show me where you're at. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a basic French braid on this back right section or left, I don't care, it's not, doesn't matter. So we're gonna do a basic French braid. So another name for a French braid is a 3-strand braid. And another really important name for a French braid, can anybody tell me another name we can call a French braid?
Inverted braid.
That's very close. Invisible.
Ah.
Invisible braid. And then another thing is a French braid is also an overhanded braid because we move our hands over. So those are the names that we hear French braid called it, and you probably just learned about that in your chapter 18. So there was a few of you last week that we're just like sort of getting started on French braiding, and I think we had some good techniques for getting the French braid down. I have this verbiage that I've used for 20 years. And it's because I've had a lack of any better verbiage to use. And some of you heard it the other day when I was working with Rihanna. And so that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna tell you the verbiage in case any of you don't know how to French braid or haven't let us know yet. So in this back section, I'm gonna start in this corner. It's a triangular corner. And I'm gonna drop my comb because I don't need it right now. I'm gonna take my 3 strands, 1, 2, 3. I'm a braider with open hands. You'll see a lot of braiders that turn their hands in and they pick up hair like this. I braid with open hands. And my reason is because this way, when I braid that way, it enables me to do a lot of the other drapey braids and fun braids that I've talked about in the past, and some of them that we're going to learn today. So I'm an open hand braider, and I have this system where we put the first strand in the whole hand. I grab the hair with the middle finger, and I hold the other strand of hair in the pinching finger. Now, I never drop any hair out of my hands. I'm always working from one hand to the next. So when I add hair, when you have a part line, I'm just going to pick up about a ½ inch of hair from a ½ inch of hair from my part line. So another thing is I don't need to dig the hair all the way in to put it with the next strand. Some people like to do that. That's fine. I don't. I'm going to pick up right on my part line, which is right here. I'm going to pick up about a ½ inch of hair and add it to the pinching finger. And now that becomes now from 3 strands to 1 strand. And I'm going to add it over to the other hand now. Middle finger, pinching finger, add hair. And then we do it all over again. Switch hands, middle finger, pinching finger, add hair, switch hands, middle finger, pinching finger, add hair to the pinching finger, switch hands, middle finger, pinching finger, add hair, switch hands, and we just work our way down the hair strand, and before you know it, you have a nice braid. Now, some of the keys that are tricky here is, one of the things when I'm braiding is that I always have my knuckles on the head. That keeps the braid tight and the braid from falling out. So I'm just going to keep repeating my braiding. And again, if anybody needs individual help with this, I'm here for that today. Today's the day, tomorrow's the day, Wednesday's the day for the braiding. We got this. We're just going to keep following along. Where braiding can get tricky is when you get down here in the nape. You always want to make sure when the head curves, you follow the head, and then you start to straighten out your sections so that the hair stays close to the nape. Nothing's worse than when it gets loose in the nape. My daughter hates it when I braid her hair and I do that because she could tell that I'm being lazy when I do that. She gets fussy. Okay, so now we just want to keep our knuckles close to the head. We want to tighten up so we don't get loose down here. Stay close to the head and follow all the way down the nape. So see, we're right down here, and this is where it can get loose unless you stay close. Your knuckles are close to the head. And then you just continue to pick up hair all the way down. And then the good news is it won't get loose on you when you do that. And then once you get to the nape, you braid off. Regular, this is now called an off the scalp braid. This is an on the scalp braid. And you braid this off. And this is what I want you guys to do today as well. So I want to see the first one, French braid. Braid it down as far as you can. You put your rubber band on it. You can turn it around. You see my first braid, that's my French braid. Okay, I will definitely help you individually. If you need help doing it during this braid, that is not a problem. I love teaching people how to braid. Okay, so now I'm gonna come to this side. Now, what do you guys think we're gonna do on this one? Anybody have an idea?
Underhand.
Woohoo! Good. So this one has different names as well. This is also a 3-strand braid. Other names for it are a Dutch braid, a cornrow braid, and a visible braid, because this time you can see the braid on the outside of the hair versus invisible braid where this is invisible where you can't see the braid because it's on the inside. This one's visible because you're going to see the braid on the outside. Okay? All right. Now, I don't have really good shout outs for my underhanded braid. It's something that you have to, when you're braiding, everything that you do in an overhand braid, you have to learn how to do with an underhand braid. You pass the hair underneath. So one of the techniques that I like to tell people to do, if they don't know how to do a Dutch braid, cornrow braid, visible braid, is I like for you to start this braid not on the scalp. I want you to practice braiding off the scalp. Now these are for people who don't know how to do this underhand braid. And the first thing you're going to do is you section the hair into 3, just like 3-strand braid. And if you were doing an overhanded braid, your hands are going to go over, right? Over, 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 and then next thing you know, you're doing an off the scalp braid. But what I want you to practice, and this is for the people who need to practice the Dutch braid, the underhand braid, the cornrow braid, is I want you to pass the hair under. So instead of my hands going like this, it's going to go under, under. And I want you to do a 3-strand braid, passing the hair underneath the middle strand each time. And that's the practice. And do this about 3 or 4 times. Can you guys see the difference between when I practiced it this way and I'm going over, over, over? But what I want you to practice for the Dutch is passing the hair under, under. Can everybody see the difference between those two things? Can I see a thumbs up, a yes, a no from anybody? Thank you. So this is how I like you to practice your Dutch braid off the scalp if you cannot do it on the scalp. And I'll be happy to talk about that again too. It's not a problem. Okay, so Dutch braid, cornrow braid, visible braid on the scalp. We're going to come up here in our corner. Same thing. You get the hair in 3 strands, 1, 2, 3. But everything is going to be passed under, whereas before I was going over. So I'm going to take hair from the outside, like I was, and then I pass it under. Take hair from the other side, pass it under. Everything goes under. You add hair from the outside, passes under the middle, add hair from the outside, passes under the middle, add hair from the outside, pass under the middle, and you follow this pattern. Next thing you know, your braid is on the outside. It is visible now. Now I know a lot of you are interested in doing cornrows and small braiding, which that can come, but it's really important to master it with a big section, and then you can start making your sections smaller. And I'll definitely help you with that as time goes on. Not a problem. Just pass the hair under and continue to follow the pattern as we come down to the bottom. You still want to, if you notice my knuckles are still close to the scalp. If you notice, I don't drop any hair out of my braid. And all the hair goes from one hand to the other. That's my technique. I'm not saying which way is right or wrong. You have to do what works best for you. This has always worked best for me. Coming down to the bottom, you want to try to stay as close as you can. And now I braid off. And as you can see, under, pass the hair under, pass the hair under. I'm continuing off the scalp with the technique of passing the hair under the middle section, under, under, under. It's like double Dutch jump rope. Everything is under. Okay, so this is your, now your Dutch braid, or cornrow, your visible braid versus your invisible braid that's inside, sits on the outside, okay? So when we cornrow, we just take really smaller sections and you pick up hair right underneath it. And this is what I want you guys to do in the back. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so this next section, the front side section, I don't care which side. This one, we're gonna do a 2-strand braid called a fishtail. And the first thing we're gonna do is fishtail off the scalp. So I want you to put a ponytail or rubber band on the hair as close to the lower part of the head as possible so that you have this part of the hair hanging there, and we're going to fishtail off the scalp. Okay, you split your fishtail braid in two because it is a 2-strand braid. And let's say we start with the hair that's in my right hand. You use this hand while the hair's laying in your hand. For me, this is how I do it. I pick up hair directly from underneath it, and then I add it over to the other side. And you have to think about how small you want your sections to be or how big you want them to be. I like them on the smaller side. So when I'm holding my other, you can hold the other side this way. And if you just want to pick up the hair that way, little strand of hair, and then you're going to add it to the other side. You're just continuously going to go from side to side where you cross the hair over. I like to pick it up from underneath on the bottom. I like to pick up the same amount as possible. So this is a really small section, and that goes to the other side. And you just continue this, 2 strands only. Well, so basically this strand that's on the right side, you take a piece and it goes around and over to the left side. The strand that's on the left side now, you take a piece from behind and then it goes over to the right side. And you just continue this process. You can see up close, it's turning out to be a fishtail braid. And then you just go you go right to left, left to right, right to left, and you just continue. Left to right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is normally when I do it, I just pick it off from the side. Does it like have a different look? Like I can't really see that close, but does it give a different look if you do it from behind? Like
I like it. I like the look from behind because I like the way it looks when it wraps around.
Okay.
So you can try it both ways. I'm not going to, if you know how to do it already, I still want you to do the exercise, but you do it the way you like to do it. That's okay. I just like the way it looks. If you can see up close when it comes around the section, for me, that's what I like to see. Does that answer your question, Hannah?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. And then you just continue this process. Most of the beautiful updo styles that you guys see, like on Pinterest and stuff, or YouTube, a lot of them are stemmed from fishtail braid, 2-strand braids. Now this can take a minute because I started with really small sections, so yay me. And you just continue to follow these steps. All the way. Two sides, 2 strands. You guys can see my fishtail braids coming along nicely. You just keep going. I want you to braid this, do this all the way down on this side. Just keep following. It's just 2 strand, right, so take a piece, goes to the right side, take a piece from the right side, goes to the left side, and you just continue this all the way. And please take this, follow this all the way down. Guys, have your little fishtail braid. I love breaking these up and having fun with them. Okay, so I'm gonna stop mine right here just so I can move on to the next thing on the other side. So you're gonna have your fishtail. We can agree that I did mine to here, but I want you guys to go all the way down with it, yes? Thumbs up? Okay. And on the other side, the last side here for this is our assessment braiding, the beginning. On this side, we're gonna do an on-scalp fishtail. Now the on-scalp fishtails can be kind of hard because they're really loose and they fall out a lot. This one I don't do a lot, but this is what I wanna see. You're gonna know in your head, you're gonna part this hair in two. So this is one part and this is the other. You're not necessarily going to keep these strands in your hair because it's hard to hold both sides this way. So I'm going to start my on the scalp fishtail 2-strand braid up here on the top where the part is, and I'm going to start in the corner on the right side. So I'm going to take hair from the corner on the right side inside, and then I'm going to bring it over. Okay, now I'm going to go to this side. Drop that hair, come over, take hair from the other side and bring it over. I like to start on the inside for this one. You can see it's starting to happen. Okay, so drop that hair down, take your next piece of hair, bring it over. You can drop this hair down, take your next piece of hair, and bring it over. Starting on the inside is the best way to do an on the scalp fishtail braid. Now, but when you start on the inside, then you're going to start working your way out. So bring it over. You guys can see it's coming along, crisscross. I'm going to drop that side. Grab the hair, bring it over, drop this side, get the hair, bring it over, drop this side, get the hair, bring it over, drop that side, get the hair, bring it over. Can you guys see it coming along? Not sure how well you could see that. Okay, so you just follow those steps. Soon you're going to be on the outside of the braid, and that's okay. We're just going to keep going now from the outside. Come from this side, bring it over, drop the hair, go to this side, bring it over. Now we're going to work from here. Bring this over, go to this side, bring the hair over, go to this side, so you're going to keep working on this until that piece is too big. I don't like the way that one looks. Until you get to the part where you're going to come off the scalp. Come from this side, bring it over. On the scalp, fishtail braids can be hard. Whoops, I dropped them. Come here, bring it over. Can you guys see that at all? Yes, no? Better than if it was done dark hair? Yes, okay, thank you. And then you continue. This side, one side, and now we're kind of going to continue fishtailing. Fishtailing. for on the scalp fishtail braid, 2 strand. And you can stop this one when you get to where it's going to be off the scalp. I'm going to do a couple so they hold. And then now you're just fishtailing like we did on the other side. Okay, I'm going to take a rubber band and I'm going to hold that section. Okay. So so that's what I want when you start the braiding. This will be your fishtail braid. And this is when it gets really fun, when people start pushing those up and like you lift out the hair and do all kinds of fun stuff with these braids. So we're going to do French on the scalp, braid off. Dutch on the scalp, braid off. 2 strand fishtail braid off the scalp, braid all the way to the end, rubber band. On the scalp fishtail braid, braid until it starts to go off the scalp, and then you can come off of it. So that's the first assignment that we'll do today. So that's basically 3 different braids. After that, I'm going to have to take this out, and I'm going to show you how to do a heart braid, an X braid, and a waterfall braid. And we're going to put the waterfall into a ladder braid. And it's okay if you're still stuck on some of them, but I just want to do the demos so they're up there. So we're going to go from there. Okay, so everybody can go ahead and get set up. And we'll start. You can stop the recording, Miss Martinez, and we'll